Tucker Carlson, renowned for his keen observations, was completely taken aback by a startling revelation not only about Barack Obama, but also involving Michelle Obama as a symbol of grace and power. Could there be hidden truths behind the seemingly flawless facade that the public remains unaware of? Controversial programs, shocking statements, and decisions have left many wondering what stunned Tucker Carlson into silence on live television, prepared to uncover a story that has never been told. You may think you know everything about Michelle Obama, but what you're about to hear may surprise you. The Let's Move initiative, launched in 2010 by Michelle Obama, aimed to address the pressing issue of childhood obesity in the United States. As First Lady, she led this movement, emphasizing the need for dietary changes, increased physical activity, and improved school meals. While the initiative had commendable goals, it soon faced criticism. The Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act mandated revisions to school menus, requiring reduced salt, sugar, and saturated fats, while incorporating more vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. However, not all students welcomed this change. Students with high energy needs, such as those involved in sports, often found the meals unsatisfying. The changes also created financial challenges for schools, as purchasing fresh and less processed food was more costly, particularly for those in low-income areas, making it difficult to maintain their budgets. Additionally, food waste became a concern as many students were dissatisfied with the meals. Students didn't complete their meals because they didn't like the taste. Seeing images of full trash cans in school cafeterias upset both parents and teachers. Although Michelle Obama and her team hoped the Let's Move program would make a big difference, studies showed the results didn't meet expectations. Childhood obesity rates didn't drop much in the short term, and the program wasn't applied consistently across the country. This led to criticism from nutrition experts and politicians. Some experts said the program focused too much on reducing calories while ignoring taste and meal variety, causing students to lose interest. One of the program's loudest critics, Tucker Carlson, quickly called it an example of the government interfering too much in people's personal lives. Tucker Carlson criticized the government's involvement in dictating what children should eat, arguing that it should be up to parents and schools, not the First Lady, to make such decisions. He questioned the effectiveness of the initiative, mocking the idea that a small apple and steamed vegetables are an ideal meal for active children. Carlson also criticized the program for wasting taxpayer money and imposing rigid policies on schools and families, despite the good intentions behind it. Many parents agreed with Carlson's views, understanding the need for healthy eating, but believing the government should not be the one making those choices. Not all meals work for every child, and these rigid rules only make things more difficult. Michelle Obama's elegance and high-class fashion style as First Lady quickly became an icon, but this perfection also sparked intense debates. While many admired her refined taste, others felt her expensive designer gowns distanced her from the working class, leading some to question whether she truly understood their struggles. Conservative commentator Tucker Carlson bluntly criticized Michelle Obama, arguing that her actions contradicted her claims to represent the working class. A $112,000 dress suggests she lives in a different world rather than showing empathy. These controversial remarks sparked reactions from those who felt Michelle was out of touch with their reality. Beyond fashion, her lifestyle during the White House years also faced criticism, like her 2010 trip to Spain. This private vacation at a luxury hotel with extensive security and transportation funded by taxpayers sparked public outrage, as millions of Americans struggled with unemployment and financial difficulties. Michelle's privileged image created a polarizing public response. Some people argued that Michelle Obama's current lifestyle, with expensive clothes and lavish vacations, seemed to have made her forget her working-class roots in Chicago. Carlson continued to emphasize that while Michelle talks about her past, her current lifestyle does not reflect the role model the working class needs. One of Michelle's most controversial statements was in 2008, when she said she was proud of her country for the first time in her adult life. Carlson immediately criticized this remark as an insult to patriotic Americans, questioning if this is how someone who claims to represent America should speak. Michelle Obama's comments about societal change sparked criticism, with some questioning her true motives. Similarly, her famous phrase, "When they go low, we go high," faced scrutiny, with Tucker Carlson arguing that the Obama family did not always adhere to this principle in the harsh political landscape. Carlson also questioned the practicality of this philosophy, stating that constantly letting opponents take advantage of you is not noble, but rather a sign of weakness. Additionally, Carlson highlighted concerns regarding Michelle Obama's approach to addressing racial issues in her speeches. Michelle claimed that even as the First Lady, she still felt uncertain and discriminated against. Carlson argued that it is absurd for someone living in the White House with all of America's privileges to claim unfair treatment, stating this divides society by constantly emphasizing pain instead of progress. Carlson also mocked Michelle's views on women's roles, criticizing her message to young girls to accept their limitations rather than encouraging them to break boundaries, which Carlson saw as contradictory to the feminist image Michelle has tried to portray. Additionally, Carlson criticized Michelle's calls for Black Americans to vote, stating that instead of uniting the nation, she is manipulating a specific community for political purposes. Carlson further criticized how Michelle utilized her role as the First Lady. Instead of representing all Americans, the former First Lady used her position to advance partisan goals and build her own public image. This was criticized as excessively politicizing the role of First Lady. It was argued that she set a dangerous precedent by turning the First Lady position into a political platform, rather than focusing on symbolic or supportive initiatives. Her approach not only broke tradition, but also left many feeling that the position was being exploited for personal and partisan gain. Furthermore, her lavish lifestyle and fashion choices, including expensive dresses and luxurious vacations, were seen as out of touch with the struggles of the working class. The public's perception of Michelle Obama as a perfect symbol has overshadowed the reality that she is not without flaws. Her emphasis on racial issues in her speeches and activities has drawn criticism, with some arguing that her rhetoric on inequality has deepened the divisions in American society instead of inspiring positive change. Critics have also accused her of failing to demonstrate the expected frugality and relatability, with the contrast between her public image and the perceived reality behind the scenes being a subject of discussion. The media often presents divergent views on Michelle Obama, with some seeing her as a symbol of progress and others perceiving her as overstepping traditional boundaries. Whether she is simply a devoted wife and First Lady or part of a larger political strategy remains a subject of debate. The enigmatic journey and controversies surrounding both Michelle and Barack Obama suggest a more complex narrative hidden from public view. While Barack Obama is widely regarded as a symbol of hope and resilience, some critics like Tucker Carlson offer a more skeptical perspective, suggesting his success was the result of a premeditated plan orchestrated by powerful forces behind the scenes. Carlson argued that Obama's rise to national prominence was not a grassroots movement, but the result of a calculated strategy by influential individuals behind the scenes. Despite being a relatively unknown state senator before the 2004 Democratic National Convention, Obama's keynote address there instantly catapulted him to nationwide fame. Carlson himself had never heard of Obama prior to that event, but afterwards he became a household name, which Carlson claimed does not happen by chance. Carlson also recalled his first meeting with Obama in Boston just before the convention, where Obama's demeanor did not suggest he would become a future leader. The person appeared ordinary, but soon after they took the stage during a primetime event, usually reserved for experienced politicians. The 2004 speech not only gained significant attention, but also laid the groundwork for the person's national political career. It was planned in advance to present the person as a symbol of change, part of a broader strategy to craft an image of the person as the embodiment of a success story rising from adversity. The media played a crucial role in portraying the person as a humble leader breaking away from traditional politics, inflating their image and turning them into the embodiment of hope, even though it was all part of a meticulously staged narrative. Barack Obama's political success was the result of a remarkable confluence of factors, both innate and strategic. His captivating oratory and charismatic presence were undoubtedly key contributors, as his ability to inspire and connect with audiences on an emotional level was unparalleled. However, it was his strategic mastery in crafting and refining his messages that truly set him apart. Obama and his team meticulously studied voter demographics, concerns, and aspirations, tailoring their messaging to resonate deeply with the electorate. They leveraged the power of storytelling, weaving narratives that tapped into the hopes and dreams of Americans from all walks of life. By skillfully framing complex issues in accessible and relatable terms, Obama was able to bridge the divide between political rhetoric and the lived experiences of his constituents. This prompts Carlson's thought-provoking questions about whether figures like Obama truly represent the will of the people, or if they are the result of carefully designed strategies to meet voter expectations. It highlights the delicate balance between authenticity and strategic positioning in modern politics, and the extent to which image building can shape and influence the public's perception of a leader. On the one hand, Obama's ability to connect with voters on a deeply personal level suggested a genuine understanding of their concerns and a sincere dedication to addressing them. His charisma and oratory skills were not merely manufactured, but rather the product of a lifetime of experiences and a deep-seated passion for public service. Yet the meticulous crafting and refining of his messages raises questions about the extent to which he was tailoring his persona to meet the expectations of the electorate. This prompts a reflection on the power of messaging and political strategy in shaping modern politics, and the degree to which leaders can be perceived as either genuine representatives of the people or as the result of a remarkable image-building campaign. It is a complex and multifaceted issue that goes to the heart of the relationship between elected officials and the citizens they serve, and the delicate balance between authentic leadership and strategic positioning. Barack Obama is admired not only for his hopeful and unifying speeches, but also for how they depicted a vision of a united United States. Tucker Carlson noted that Obama had the power to turn every word into an emotional force. Obama is not just a politician, but a representation of hope, as Carlson particularly highlighted Obama's speech at the 2008 Democratic National Convention, which included the memorable line that we are not a red America or a blue America, but the United States of America. This statement, despite its lack of detailed policy discussions, resonated with millions, igniting a yearning for unity amidst deep division. However, upon entering the White House, Obama's political messaging began to change. The idealism of his early years gave way to a more pragmatic approach during his 2012 re-election campaign, where he focused more on cultural and social issues rather than nationwide unity. Carlson observed that this shift was not accidental, but a strategic move to appeal to specific voter groups. Moreover, Carlson highlighted the role of strategic advisors and interest groups in shaping Obama's messaging, arguing that the changes in his policies were not solely personal decisions, but also the result of complex compromises with powerful forces in the American political system. According to the in-depth analysis conducted by political experts, many of the key policies and initiatives introduced by President Barack Obama during his administration were not as revolutionary or transformative as he had initially promised and proclaimed. Instead, a significant portion of Obama's policy agenda appeared to be a continuation and extension of the existing frameworks and approaches implemented by the previous Republican administration under President George W. Bush. When several of Obama's bold and ambitious campaign promises failed to fully materialize or have the intended impact, the president made a strategic decision to shift his primary focus towards engaging in cultural and social battles in order to solidify his political standing and appeal to key voter demographics. By emphasizing and amplifying divisive cultural issues, Obama was able to energize and mobilize his core supporters, even if his overall policy record did not align with the sweeping changes he had pledged. Insightful observations made by political commentator Tucker Carlson suggest that despite Obama's undeniable talent, charisma, and broad influence, his legacy remains complex and multifaceted. On one hand, Obama is widely regarded as a historic symbol of progress and change, being the first African-American president, yet Carlson argues that Obama's tactical adjustments in messaging and campaign strategy also inadvertently contributed to the increasing levels of political polarization witnessed across America in recent years, as cultural flashpoints have increasingly taken center stage in the national discourse. Carlson's analysis further emphasizes that the notable shifts in Obama's approach during his 2012 re-election campaign were not random or haphazard, but rather the result of a carefully calculated political plan. By pivoting towards more divisive cultural issues, Obama was able to energize his base, despite his inability to fully deliver on his initial transformative policy agenda. This strategic shift, while electorally successful in the short term, also highlighted the growing divide and tensions within American society that have continued to linger in the years since Obama's presidency. According to the analysis, the Obama administration took a measured and deliberate approach in responding to the challenges they faced during his first term, rather than reacting hastily. Instead of rushing into decisions, the administration carefully planned their strategy to address the difficulties that arose. This thoughtful, methodical approach was in contrast to the quick, impulsive reactions that had characterized some previous administrations. At the same time, the Obama team had to adapt to a shifting political landscape, as social movements like the Tea Party and Occupy Wall Street challenged the established power structures and processes of policymaking. Despite their contrasting goals and methods, both of these grassroots movements were critical of the lack of transparency and accountability in government. This climate of skepticism and distrust created an imperative for the Obama administration to find new ways to connect with the electorate. In response, Obama and his team adjusted their communication style and tactics, aiming to reshape public perceptions of their political agenda. A key part of this strategy involved the use of new language and terminology, such as the term woke, in the president's speeches and media campaigns. This was part of a deliberate, long-term plan to rebuild a stronger bond between politicians and voters, based on a shared understanding of the issues and challenges facing the country. By carefully planning their approach, being responsive to the evolving political landscape, and innovating in their communication, the Obama administration sought to navigate the complexities of his first term and strengthen the relationship between the government and the American people. This multifaceted strategy reflected the administration's recognition that effectively addressing the nation's problems would require not just sound policy, but also building trust and buy-in from the public. The power of words and language has evolved far beyond their symbolic meaning, becoming instrumental tools in shaping the public's perception and understanding of complex social and political issues. As Carlson argued, the landscape of political campaigning has undergone a significant transformation driven by the advancements in data analysis and the widespread adoption of modern media platforms. Strategists have harnessed these technological and communication advancements to not only control the content of their messages, but also to meticulously manipulate how these messages are received by the public. The goal is to ensure that the public not only hears the carefully crafted narratives, but also comes to deeply believe in them, often without questioning their veracity. This strategic approach to messaging has become a cornerstone of modern political campaigns, where the focus has shifted from merely informing the public to actively molding their understanding and evaluation of events. Carlson's insights shed light on the growing role of media in this process, emphasizing that it no longer serves solely as a neutral reporter of information. Instead, media outlets have become active participants in shaping the public's perception, steering the narrative, and influencing how people comprehend and assess the social and political landscape. This phenomenon has profound implications as it challenges the traditional notions of objective reporting and raises questions about the extent to which the public's understanding of events is guided by the strategic interests of those in power. Furthermore, Carlson addressed the emerging trend of increased public awareness of these power structures and the prevalence of misinformation. He acknowledged that what was once easily concealed from the public eye has now become more transparent as people are becoming more attuned to the subtle and not so subtle manipulations of information. This heightened awareness presents both challenges and opportunities as it potentially empowers the public to scrutinize the narratives presented to them and to demand a more authentic and accountable political discourse. In essence, Carlson's analysis underscores the evolving role of language, media, and information in the realm of social and political dynamics, highlighting the complex interplay between the strategies of those in power and the growing awareness and critical thinking of the public. As the landscape continues to shift, the need for a more transparent and accountable approach to communication and information dissemination becomes increasingly paramount. The development of modern communication and access to information has made it more challenging to manipulate public opinion compared to earlier generations. This shift represents not just an evolution in political campaigning, but also a turning point in American society, where citizens are increasingly questioning the transparency and power of those in authority. Carlson's analysis extends beyond the Obama presidency, reflecting a broader picture of how media and political strategies are shaping the future of American politics. Propaganda has long been a powerful tool for influencing minds and controlling political narratives, as Carlson illustrates through historical and contemporary examples, particularly during the Obama administration. Carlson draws parallels to the tactics of Joseph Goebbels, emphasizing that true power lies in manipulating information rather than wielding physical weapons. This observation is particularly relevant in the digital age, where the rapid spread of information and the ease of sharing content on social media have made it increasingly difficult for those in power to maintain a strict control over the narrative. Furthermore, Carlson's analysis highlights the evolving role of the media in shaping public discourse. In the past, traditional media outlets often served as gatekeepers, filtering and curating the information that reached the public. However, the rise of social media and alternative news sources has disrupted this model, allowing for a more diverse range of perspectives and narratives to emerge. This has challenged the ability of political elites to dominate the conversation and has empowered citizens to seek out and engage with a broader spectrum of information. Carlson's work also delves into the psychological and sociological factors that contribute to the public's susceptibility to propaganda. He explores how cognitive biases, emotional appeals, and the desire for simplistic explanations can make individuals more vulnerable to manipulation. By understanding these underlying dynamics, Carlson aims to equip readers with the critical thinking skills necessary to navigate the complex and increasingly polarized political landscape. Overall, Carlson's analysis represents a significant contribution to the ongoing dialogue surrounding the role of media, information, and power in American politics. As the landscape continues to evolve, his insights offer valuable perspectives on the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead for citizens, policymakers, and those seeking to shape the future of the country. Carlson strongly criticizes the Obama administration, accusing it of using sophisticated propaganda techniques to create favorable narratives while systematically silencing opposing viewpoints. He claims that the administration weaponized concepts like national unity to deepen existing societal divisions based on identity, race, and ideology. This manipulative strategy, Carlson argues, stifled free thought and reduced public discourse to a series of pre-constructed narratives that served the administration's political agenda. Carlson argues that the ongoing discussions surrounding the events of January 6th are a prime example of a propaganda-driven approach to framing and interpreting complex political events. He asserts that terms like insurrection have come to dominate the public discourse, despite a lack of deeper examination and the pervasive influence of partisan narratives and spin tactics. Carlson believes this narrative shaping is a concerted effort by certain political factions to vilify and delegitimize their opponents, rather than engaging in an impartial, fact-based analysis of the multifaceted events that unfolded on that day. He contends that the use of charged language and the selective presentation of information are designed to sway public opinion and demonize certain political ideologies, rather than fostering a nuanced understanding of the underlying issues and motivations. However, Carlson sees a glimmer of hope on the horizon, as he believes the grip of propaganda is gradually weakening. He suggests that more people are becoming aware of the media's manipulation tactics, driven by a growing societal skepticism towards the one-sided framing of politically divisive issues. Carlson asserts that while propaganda was once highly effective in shaping public opinion, it is now rapidly collapsing due to the increasing demand for honest, open dialogue and a more balanced, objective analysis of complex political events. He believes that as people become more discerning and critical of the narratives presented to them, the power of propaganda to sway public discourse will diminish, paving the way for a more nuanced and factual understanding of the events of January 6th and the broader political landscape. Carlson's analysis raises the vital question of whether the deep societal fractures tearing apart the fabric of our nation can truly be healed, or if they have become so entrenched and irreversible that reconciliation may no longer be possible. He emphasizes the crucial importance of promoting mutual understanding, empathy, and a genuine search for common ground in finding solutions to the complex problems facing our society, problems that all too often become mired in partisan divides and ideological warfare. Carlson argues that the pernicious influence of propaganda can only thrive and take root when we, as a collective citizenry, allow it to do so. When we become complacent, disengaged, and content to passively consume the narratives and talking points fed to us by those in power, whether in government, the media, or other spheres of influence. He forcefully urges citizens from all walks of life to actively engage in heightened awareness, robust public discourse, and open, honest dialogues across socio-political lines. These, Carlson believes, are essential for overcoming the manipulation of public discourse and creating a more transparent, equitable, and cohesive society. Carlson's trenchant critique of the Obama administration's perceived use of propaganda, as well as his clarion call for a return to honest, inclusive, and substantive dialogue, reflect a growing disillusionment and distrust among many Americans with the ways in which our public discourse has become increasingly warped, polarized, and subjected to malign forces seeking to control the national narrative. His message resonates powerfully with those who seek to challenge the status quo, reclaim the power of independent thought and critical analysis, and forge a new path forward rooted in shared values, mutual respect, and a renewed commitment to the democratic ideals that have long sustained and inspired the American experiment. In a time of deep social, political, and cultural division, Carlson's words serve as a clarion call to action, urging citizens to rise above the din of partisan rancor and work collectively to bridge the yawning chasms that threaten to tear our society asunder. Only by embracing the hard work of empathy, dialogue, and a genuine reckoning with our differences can we hope to heal the wounds that have been inflicted and forge a more just, equitable, and unified path forward. If you found this video informative, we'd love to hear your comments. Please leave a message below, like the video, and share it with your friends to spread the word. Don't forget to check out our other videos on the screen to continue the discussion. Remember to subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.